So we're back with another episode of Credit Repair Series with Thomari Story. How you doing today, Thomari?
Omar, how you doing, brother? Hey, I'm doing great. I'm out here in Melbourne, Florida, working on a flip. So we're in the construction zone, but it looks really good. So because if you
Oh,
saw this, you'll be like, "Whoa, okay, I see."
always wheeling and dealing. I love it. I love it. Always moving forward, staying in motion.
Yes, sir. That's how we got to do it. You know how we do it.
So I took a look at our credit repair series, and I'm doing like a little change up for us, right, to see if we can bring more value to our guests and our viewers. So for those of you who are familiar with TikTok, if you know how you stitch videos, that's what we're going to be doing. I found some videos, some amazing videos on credit repair on TikTok that we're going to watch together, and then we're going to have Thomari here, who's our subject matter expert, add more value to it and answer some of the questions in that video's comments to see, where are these pain points that people are kind of just running into a wall. So, Thomari, ready to watch the first one?
Hey, let's rock and roll. Let's play it.
Okay.
I get
All
asked
right.
this question on a daily basis. How much does credit repair cost? Well, you're about to find out. If you've ever been victimized by credit repair, then you probably had a company that told you that they needed you to stay with them for 6 to 12 months and that they needed you to pay about $189 a month on average. Let's do the math on that though. If you're paying $189 a month for 6 months of credit repair, your total price is going to be about $1,134 for 6 months of credit repair. $1,134. That is absolutely ridiculous. The way that we do things at James Warren, we're not even gonna talk pricing until we lay eyes on your credit report. How are we gonna quote Sally with 3 items the same price as Joe with 36 items? That's just not, it doesn't make sense. When you sign up for a credit report autopsy listed in my bio, we're going to look at your credit report. We're going to customize your quote based on how many actual negative items you have. So the less negative items you have, the cheaper your price is going to be with us. Don't worry, if you have a lot of negative items, guess what? We never charge you more than $899 total. That's it. You know what else we do that other credit repair companies don't do? We offer financing that reports on your credit report as a positive account, so you're building credit. Sign up for a credit autopsy, guys. The link is in my bio, and it's only $1. Once you fill out an autopsy, we'll be...
Okay. What do we think, Thomari?
Well, I love her delivery, and I love some of the things that she was saying. When she used a couple different terminologies that she kind of made it unique, like autopsy and things like that. But ultimately, when you really break down what she's saying, a lot of our clients come to us and say, "Hey, I signed up with this company called Lexington Law, and we only pay like a small monthly fee. Usually, it's like $99. She used the $189. So they vary, but they're relatively small monthly fees, and this is the membership model. And as New Year's comes around, you go to the gym in the beginning, but they're banking on that you just keep that gym membership going. And so in terms of this membership model, you pay this monthly fee. So a lot of times what they don't tell you is they're only going to dispute a little bit, because if they get too much off your credit and, now what do you do now? Like, you're not going to be of value to them over the course of 12 months or 15 months. And that's what she's talking about, the cost of the time. What does credit repair really cost you? When you think about time versus money, or a membership fee versus a more aggressive way of being able to dispute negative items, now the time versus money, $99 strong on 6 months. Now, that's really costing you time. And if you're not getting the results, that's like a double whammy right there. Because I know the clients that come through us, they're not going to pay any money unless they're going to want to see some type of results. And those results come in the form of what we call deletions, when you get negative items removed from your credit report. And so when I'm looking at, when she says autopsy, that's what we call an audit. And so an audit is really breaking down that credit report and seeing, hey, where are you at? What negative items do you have on your credit report right now? What positive items do you have on your credit report? Because a lot of people don't talk about, let's talk about the positive items and the negative items, because ultimately it's a team effort. We're going to work together because we can't pay the client's bills. And so we're going to work together. So when the client makes their payments on time and we're able to help them get negative items removed, that team effort is really what drives that credit score and that 6 month period of time, or that 30 to 90 days. And so in that short period of time, if you're paying a membership fee versus a company that's going to be aggressive and get you results, we're not concerned about a membership fee because you're going to give us referrals. You're going to say, hey, you're going to refer your mom, your dad, your brothers, whoever needs help. You're going to tell them the story of, hey, I went to this credit repair company and they really helped me. They sat down with me, they went over an autopsy, or they went over an audit on my credit, and they really gave me some nuggets that really helped me in a 6 month or a 30-day period of time. So now I went from not qualifying to now I can qualify for this HELOC or this house that I want to buy, or to refinance my house, or refinance my car, or maybe get that credit card that I've been wanting just as a security blanket in case, I need it one rainy day, And so I like what she was saying, because there's a lot of companies out there that don't really tell you that. They'll just say, hey, I'm going to get your credit score up to 700 plus, but they don't look at your credit and they really break it down. And a membership fee, you got to really be careful, because what if you're not needed anymore? What if you don't need them anymore? Then what? Are you still going to charge me that $99 a month? Or in a year from now, am I still going to have to be paying this membership fee? Because I know with the gym membership, they're banking on me not going every day, and that's where this membership fee comes in. You got to be very, very careful.
Okay, so for clarity, I'm sure there's more than two ways to do this, but one way, as far as how clients get charged, or how is a kind of membership kind of based model fee. And number two, and I believe this is the way you do it, please correct me if I'm wrong, your fee is based off of performance rather than a membership, a monthly kind of due, right? So depending on what you can delete or do and the customer sees, that's when they get charged, and that's how your business model works. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct, Omar. We charge, we call it pay for performance. We're only going to get paid if we actually get items deleted and removed from the credit report. And so that's a part of being in compliance. There's laws that restrict you from collecting upfront money when it comes to credit repair. So really, the key is a membership fee or pay for performance. Those are ways where you can get paid and be in compliance for credit repair from just a foundational standpoint. Now, the way that's different, pay for performance is different from a membership fee. A membership fee is exactly what it sounds. They're just going to try to work on it. You're not going to get a refund if they don't get results. You're not going to they're not going to get paid based off of their performance. They're going to get paid based off them working on your credit and seeing what they can do. And so I know when I was able to really understand what my clients wanted, I didn't want to get paid unless I actually performed for them. And so with the pay for performance, it's a audit fee up front. That's the autopsy that she was talking about, but that's only if you sign up. We give a free consultation and we'll go over your credit report, but the audit fee is your skin in the game. And then if you don't see a single deletion in 60 days, then you get a full refund. And so we can only get paid if we get results for our clients. And so that's a big, and that's what she's really talking about in this video. She's saying, be careful with those membership fees, because they can string you along. And I've heard it so many times where clients come and say, hey, the fee sounded really good, we can afford it, but at the end of the day, we're signed up for a year or 2 years, and we saw a little bit of results, which makes sense on the membership fee, but we couldn't get into our house. If you notice, mortgage lenders and realtors, they don't really refer their clients to credit repair companies that have membership fees, because why would they? They're in the business of getting people into a house, right? And so if the process can drag on a year versus, let's just say, 30 to 90 days, or let's just say 6 months, that's a big swing in terms of time, in terms of follow-up, and so the membership fee is, it's all contingent, obviously, on, going with a company that knows what they're doing and that can help you and get results. But what this video is really talking about is be leery of the membership fee companies and do your research and read their reviews. Are they having a membership fee and being really, really successful? Or are they selling you on the price, which she's talking about? Be careful, the cost of time and the value of the price versus the value of what you're getting. You have to be very, very critical and ask the right questions when you're looking at credit repair as an option.
Wow. It's great that you say all that, because I remember reading the comments in this specific video, and you're talking to a lot of pain points that I read as far as people signing up, or a few months have gone by and it's crickets. So
Right.
if you...
Yeah, let's dive into these questions.
Yes.
I think these are really good. The first question is, I don't feel comfortable with my SSN, Social Security number, and an online form. Is there another way to sign up? And so, when it comes to security, I feel like you should always research the company, because we're talking about servers. When you go online and being a credit repair company, we have to go the extra mile in terms of security. And so not only us, but like when it comes to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, there's been breaches over the years. And so this is a valid concern when it comes to making sure that your Social Security number is secure, because, identity theft is running rapid. And you always want to make sure that you protect your Social Security number. And so I can see how this could be a scary situation for people to not take that first step, because it's like, I want to make sure that I don't compromise my credit even more, because I'm going through this service to help me, not to hurt. And so I would definitely, that comes down to more of a research and servers. But what I will tell you is these companies like ours, and like I mentioned, the 3 bureaus, we have to go the extra mile in terms of that security piece. And so, getting your that first step in the right direction, it may require you putting your Social Security number in a system. And it really comes down to you trusting the fact that this is gonna be a secure site. So it's more of cybersecurity in terms of the actual site. And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So let me ask you, on your form, because I noticed you have it. There's a block that asks for your Social Security number. Can someone still fill out the form, leave that blank, and still submit it, and you guys will receive it, or you can't even? It's a required field box.
Oh, no. So what we do is we have our clients sign up on a third-party monitoring service, like it's called Identity IQ or Smart Credit. Also, you can actually sign up directly with the bureaus. And so we don't even see the Social Security number. We want to give the consultation first and have the client sign up with or they can call us on the phone and we can help them with it. If they ask for help, we're more than willing to help them fill out the information. But when it comes to actually pulling your credit, you do have to put your Social Security number in a system to actually pull a credit report. Or some systems you can put your last 4. Like if it's a marketing like Credit Karma, you don't ever have to put your full social in there. But TransUnion owns Credit Karma, and they will give you access to that credit report, at least with TransUnion and Equifax, but you won't get Experian. So that's an example of not having to give all your full 9 digits, and you can give 4 digits, their last 4. And so for some people that might be a more safe for them. But ultimately, when it comes to our service, we're going to need a monitoring service or directly with the bureaus, and that's when you're going to have to put your full social in.
Okay. Let's scroll down a little bit.
Okay. And so the next question is, I paid $275 for a company 9 months ago, and I can't even get them to communicate with me. Nothing's changed. I need help. This is a huge concern with people, and I like these comments because they're valid concerns. And now, when it comes to communication, that's part of one of our core values. And I feel as though communication is everything, especially when you look at the last question, when it's talking about putting your social security in a system. And then, when it comes to, actually paying money for something, you want to be communicated with. And so it's almost like dating. When you're vetting these credit repair companies, you should ask them about their communication. You should ask them, how will I be communicated with? Is it going to be in form of a progress report? Is it going to be in form of somebody, a dedicated specialist to call me once a month to let me know my results of the previous month? And so communication is so important. So when you're vetting these companies, you really want to ask them, what is your form of communication? Because some companies simply just send you like an automated kind of like suggestions on what you can do kind of thing, and not send you anything when it comes to like your status of how your credit repair is going. And then when you try to call the companies, they don't pick up. And then they communicate really well in the beginning, but when you start it and you pay the money, they ghost you. And then that's what gives credit repair, a bad name, because when that happens, when there's lack of communication, your mind tends to wonder, is my identity being stolen? Were they really a reputable company? Are they the ones that have like duped me and now they're applying for credit? And so when there's lack of communication, that could not be happening, or that could be happening, but when there's lack of communication, that the mind tends to wonder, usually towards the negative, not the positive. Most of the time it's like, oh, they got it. They just don't want to pick up because they're busy, versus like, hey, what's really going on? And that's why, in the interview process, you want to ask them, what's your form of communication, and how can I expect, and how can my expectations be managed in terms of communication? And can you talk about that? And then I would just listen and see how detailed and how important it is to them. Because if it's just like, oh, we'll get back to you, and if they're kind of dancing around that, then that's a red flag right there. You really want them to really talk about communication like it's important to them, because it's obviously important to the client. And if it's important to the client, it should be important to the company as well.
Wow. It's well said, because I know the very first thing that people are concerned about is price, right? The money part. But that second piece to it should be communication, because that's the follow-up that like you said, is so critical, especially in the middle and towards the end, not in the beginning, because everyone's communication is going to be great because they still want your business.
Right, exactly. 100%, Omar. You gotta ask those questions and in the beginning, and hold them accountable for what they say. I would take notes, write it down. So, or one of the best ways is to do ask for a Zoom call, or like a way where you can record the conversation. So but taking notes is the first step, and then you can always accelerate other ways of just holding the companies accountable for what they tell you in the beginning and throughout the process.
Good to know. And you do either a phone call, or if they want a virtual call, you do the same thing.
Oh, 100%. I actually prefer Zoom calls.
Oh, okay.
Because the Zoom calls, I'm a visual person myself. And so when I'm analyzing a report, I want the client to see what I'm seeing. And like how we have the screen up right now, we'll have the credit report up, and we'll literally go through the credit report together. And so the Zoom it gives you a lot more information versus visual and audio at the same time versus a phone call. You can't see expressions. You can't see who's working with you. Especially for the last couple of questions, security wise, being able to see who you're working with, see kind of like, their facial expressions when they're talking. And, you can, I was a communication major, so I really value communication because it tells me so much, not only about If I'm looking into certain things, in business, I prefer Zoom calls because it gives me so much more information and communication versus audio and visual I can get at the same time.
Man, that's so critical in today's world of technology. If you don't have like a communication style that has like some form of video where I'm talking to the actual business person with the service, I mean, I feel like that's just like you're kind of missing a mark there, especially when it comes to trust and communication, right? Because I think for any service-based business, I want to see that person, not just over the phone, to see those, because communication is so much nonverbal, right? And with video, you get to see a little bit of that.
Oh, 100%. The nonverbal, the verbal, and if you notice, Omar, we're talking about like a lot of different things all in one that you can't get from a simple phone call or an email.
Yeah.
You can't pick up on any of that stuff. And so you can have somebody in, another country that's literally, where if you saw where they were, you might not do business with them. Let's just say that,
I see where you're going there. Yeah.
Components,
Too true. That's very true. You just made me think of something. All right, let's read a few more comments.
All right. So let's see what we got here. So once someone files bankruptcy, what should they do in the following 7 years for the best credit results? Okay.
Can you answer that one? I feel like that's a long answer.
Really good question.
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So first of all, bankruptcy on the credit report it stays on your credit for 10 years, right? But what the credit bureaus don't tell you is, to have a bankruptcy on the credit report, it has to go through the courts, and they don't report to the bureaus. And by law, you have to report to the bureaus that have anything negative on a credit report. So after a bankruptcy, one of the first things that I would do if I had a bankruptcy would to be go through the credit repair process and when it comes to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, really look at those points where it tells you that you have to actually report to the bureaus in terms of negative items and positive items, and if no one's reporting to the bureaus, or if they're not the right sources are reporting to the bureaus, like the county clerk's office, and they're not reporting, then you question that and the law, and you could possibly get that item removed. And so going through a bankruptcy, I'm saying that's kind of like, some people may call it a loophole, but I call it's the law. It's not a loophole. If the law is the law and they're breaking the law, then why should it be on your credit report? And that's how the dispute process works in a nutshell. So after and following 7 years, some people may want to wait till 7 years. Some people may want to wait till 10. But if you knew you can actually accelerate this process in terms of like the dispute process and recover from a bankruptcy, because really it's the recovery of that we're really talking about, the restoration of that process happening to you, and how do you come out of that process in a positive light. And so one of the things that I recommend, because after 2 years, you can actually buy a house after a bankruptcy, for most lenders. So if 2 years is the case, then I would really focus on what items of my credit in those 7, right away I would. So I personally wouldn't wait 7 years, but like right away, can I get a secured credit card? Because maybe all my revolving credit was in the bankruptcy. So I don't have any revolving credit right now. And a secured credit card is one of the easiest ways to start establishing credit, because you're taking $200 out of your bank account and you're putting it on a credit card, and you're securing that money with your own money that actually reports to the bureaus, right? And so when that happens, now you're rebuilding your credit, and so when it comes to a bankruptcy, when I read a bankruptcy on a credit report, it's not only the bankruptcy itself, but it's all the items that were in the bankruptcy, and they have comments underneath them. This item was in a bankruptcy for all the lenders to see, right? And so one of the things through the credit repair process is we dispute those items. And because there's a lot of inaccuracies when they report those items, when it comes to the balance, some items weren't even in the bankruptcy, but they're saying it is. There's like 80% of credit reports that have errors on them that you'll never catch if you don't know what to look at. And so that's really where we help our clients after a bankruptcy, help them rebuild their credit and do it organically. And it starts with, after the process is over, it's like, what's your plan to recover? Well, credit repair is definitely an option. Because it's not like you can just go through bankruptcy again, you know what I mean? So it's like, unless you have another option, which I personally don't know another option, and the fact that you don't have to wait 7 years to do it, that's exciting to me, and I know when we tell our clients that and they come to us, it's one of those things is we explain that to them, it's like what happened in the past is the past. Let's put a plan together moving forward, whether it's a bankruptcy, whether there's a car accident, whether there's a death in the family, life happens. And, we're very empathetic to what happens in people's lives. And so having that solution, it makes us, as a company feel really good to be able to help clients that feel like, they had to wait 7 years. We say, hey, let's start this process today. Let's put a game plan today so you don't have to wait 7 years in this process, or 10 years, or 2 years.
Wow. I know that's incredible, because I know, having just no knowledge prior to, meeting you, that was the general knowledge of 7-10 years of wait time to recover from a bankruptcy if you even want to apply for a home loan, right? But you're saying if you get with someone like yourself, you can cut that time in more than half, 2 years or less, it seemed like, depending on, the specifics, which is, if you're a person who values time, that is incredible. Incredible. Wow.
That kind of goes back to the original video that we watched in terms of time. You know what I mean? Let's talk about time. What does time mean to you? What are your expectations of time? Because if your expectations is 10 and you're able to cut that into 6 months, that's a pretty big swing. That's very significant.
Oh my, yeah.
Things can happen in that time frame.
Yeah. That's life changing. People, that's so life changing, 6 months and because the longer you're kind of in it, the more you kind of feel like you're in this hole you can't escape. And man, that's almost light right there. It feels like light at the end of the tunnel. My goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it's a glooming, a flashing light. Like when in your head, it may be like the caution light or the help light, but now the light at the end of the tunnel where you can literally say, "Hey, it's tangible now. I can touch it. I almost can feel it. It's so close."
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, we're going at 28 minutes here. I think we have time for one more comment or two, and then we're going to wrap things up because I want to keep it at 30 minutes.
Perfect. All right. So the next question, I've got 22 or so inquiries on my credit report. I've taken care of the collections. How much would it cost in terms of an estimate? And so that's a great question, because inquiries, let's just talk about inquiries real quick. Hard inquiries versus soft inquiries. Hard inquiries actually report to your credit, and every time a hard inquiry, and when we talk about hard inquiries, we're talking about, I'm going to apply for a mortgage, I'm going to apply for a car, I'm going to apply for a credit card. There's either going to be a soft or a hard inquiry. And so a soft inquiry, they can pull it, see everything on the credit report, give you a decision, but not necessarily have to count it as a hard. That's going to be 2 to 4 point ding to your credit. So that's a big difference between a hard and a soft inquiry. A soft inquiry, there's no effect in terms of a decrease in score to your credit, but a hard inquiry is 2 to 4, at least, on average, 2 to 4 points ding to your credit. So your credit's going to drop those points depending on if they're reporting, or if they're pulling from all 3 bureaus, if they're pulling from 1 bureau. And so when those inquiries add up, like this comment, scholar says 22 or so, that's pretty significant especially if you're trying to get any type of funding, because inquiries to lenders, it looks like you're desperate. It looks like there's desperation going on and you're getting told no, but you keep applying, and it becomes like a situation of that question, why? And so FICO and the algorithms are gonna possibly deny you strictly on how many times you're getting denied and you keep applying. And then the period of time. So inquiries stay on your credit report for 2 years, right? And so that knowledge to lenders and that information to lenders are going to be on your credit report for that 2 years. So with the credit repair process, we can actually dispute inquiries and get inquiries removed for and help our clients do that. And when it comes to cost, there's companies out there that, it really varies. Some of them are $25 per inquiry per bureau, believe it or not. So think about, if you got 22 of those, do the math on that. Some of them, packaged, this Skylar says, there's no collections. The collections are gone, but the inquiries are there. So what Skylar's trying to do is mold the credit report, because it's like, okay, I was able to get the collections removed. Now what's next? What next can a lender say no, possibly? And that's the next thing for Skylar is 22 inquiries. And so cost is going to be a factor in that. And so what we do is we include inquiry removal into our credit report and into our credit repair, or we'll include it in we'll include it in a package deal, so it's affordable. So we're not charging $25 per inquiry. It may work out to a couple dollars, or free inquiry removal, depending on the file. Because like we talked about earlier, when you look at the audit, it's ultimately going to tell you where the client is, and we can charge based off of if we're doing a pay for deletion, we can charge based off that. And so, but just being really mindful of like how do they package the pricing for inquiry removal, because it could be pricey, or it could be included, or it could be what you consider affordable. So it really varies, and just asking the company, because ultimately it's simply disputing just like you would a collection, except for the process is a lot more time consuming. So companies want to be compensated for that time, so they will charge accordingly.
Wow, man. I had 3 videos total to show us today, but we only had time for one because we got so in detail with the comments, which I love, because I felt I got a lot of great knowledge just from going over the comments with you and watching this video.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you, Omar. Just being able to like kind of break that down, I enjoyed that, because it really, it's if we're answering people's pain points and the things that are really holding them back, what's that going to do for them today or tomorrow? That's the exciting part. What are they going to do with this information? And I love this format that you have here. Thank you so much for setting this up and having me a part of this. I really enjoy this.
Oh man, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, like always, Thomari. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up for now. We'll catch you next week.